do I necessarily have to drop the designation Crip, gangster, hoodster, blockster, right? Whatever I'm from, right? It could be GD, BD, Vice Lord, Stone, whatever you from, right? Do you have to drop that designation when you turn from the activity that was negative in that gang? Let's just call it gang, right? Do you, and I'm talking about when I say do you have to do it, I mean as a rule of thumb from the gang mentality, do you have to drop the designation? That's my question. That was my question, right? So we had a podcast yesterday and we were talking about it. And I said, I made the comparison of being a gang member to being, in the United States military, right? You signed up for a military. You got trained to go on missions, right? You got trained to conduct certain affairs, to handle business a certain way, to deal with things a certain way, right? You established a name for yourself in the Marines, right? So not only are you Patrick Jones, right? But you one shot, because this brother can hit a target, 4 football fields away with wind conditions, right? So they call him one shot, So when his brotherhood is talking to him, they refer to him as one shot, right? Then you go further and you go through the Marines and you become a corporal and you become a sergeant, you become a lieutenant, you are honorably, you retire from the military, you put 20 years in, 25 years in, you retire from the military, right? At that point, in the Marines, you're considered a veteran, right? Someone who has paid his service to his country, and if he was honorably discharged, he receives certain benefits. The brotherhood that he soldiered with in various brigades and platoons and etc., that he soldiered with, companies, they know him as one shot. When he left honorably, right? If you were to meet him in a grocery store, right? What would he tell you? Wearing fatigues with a jarhead cut and some boots on, and he just has a look about himself. And you would be like, man, did you serve? He'd be honorably, yeah, Marines. So you are ex-Marine? And what would he tell you when you asked him that? What would he say? He wouldn't say he was an ex-Marine. He would say once a Marine, always a Marine. That's what he would tell you. I was in 29 Palms, and the biggest Marine base in the country is in 29 Palms. And I used to be up there when I think I was about 13, 12. I had got kicked out of LA school district, and I went out there with my sister. And I would hang out with the Marines, man. And they was some serious dudes, man. But, they was lax too. But they had a culture, right? And it was a culture of pride about what they were involved in. And they never would refer to themselves as ex-Marines. It would always be that they referred to themselves as once a Marine, always a Marine. Yeah, I'm a war veteran. I survived, the war was, I can't think of them, Desert Storm and different stuff like that, right? We were in, the wars they had with ISIS and all of that over there, man. I can't pack Uzbekistan and all these different places, man. And they've been in wars together, right? And then they come out after they've completed a 25-year tour, and now they've been trying to build the family, but now they're going to turn their focus totally to being a family man, right? At that point, there's so many things to consider about the military aspect of this person's life, right? That they'll never let go of, right? They'll never let go of it. And killing, and unaliving is unaliving to the Most High, right? That nation state pride and all that you have, and what you call, unaliving enemies and stuff like that. You got to look at that and say, man, does the Most High see a difference? You signed up, right? The gang member signed up to deal with his immediate circumstances, right? You went to deal with the government and their circumstances. So I just want to say that. It's a possibility that we could be making a mistake about that, about how we view that, because conventional wisdom, when it comes to street organizations, conventional wisdom says that they're all negative and there's no good to them, right? But I don't want to take a page, out of the enemy's book to define my activity. I don't want to do that. Even if it turns out that it could be that. Could be that it was mostly negative. I don't really see it that way, that it was mostly negative. There was a lot of negativity in it, but it wasn't mostly negative for me, because I always look at it as training. It was training for me. Gangbanging was training for me. It prepared me to have a certain type of and level of response to save my life and defend my life. And not only that, but just how to maneuver, right? How to avoid certain things. I learned that while being an active gang enforcer. I learned a lot of that, And I said, in another part of my argument was that, if God didn't want me or any of us to be involved in street organizations, right? He could have stopped it. He could have put an end to it before it even got started, right? But he saw something in it to allow it, right? And what I see in it, I can't read the guy's mind, obviously, but I see the training in it, man. I talk to people and I deal with people every day who didn't come down the road that I went down as a gang enforcer. And I listen to them. I watch them. And I kind of make assessments of what problems I see with how they respond to certain things that are really dangerous, right? And I make a determination. I would help them, but you're not ready for that. That situation you're in right now, you're not ready for it. You got to get ready, though. You got to be trained to be ready for it. And some of what I would be coming from in my responses would be my training as a gang enforcer, right? That being said, that's what I wanted to get into today. How y'all doing out there? I had about 6 of y'all on view. I think it was on TikTok. Shout to G, man. Again, Compton's finest. But I messed up, so I guess I lost some of y'all in the live when I went out. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to come on here and drop a little bit with y'all and see how this dual release works, going on TikTok and going on YouTube simultaneously. If it increases the outreach any, and I think it did. I saw some improvement in that. But with that being said, man, it's your homeboy. Call me free, man. FRE. Fat Rat Evolve, but you could just call me free. Right? Because that's what I'm striving for, man. I want to be a free black man. That's it. Right? Freedom, justice, and equality is my goal. For myself, I can't give you what I ain't got. Right? A method for getting there, right? All right, well, with that being said, man, I'm going to check out, man. Y'all continue to have a blessed one. Peace.